Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to learn about the storage devices. So for those of you who already watched my video about the term called processing, then you already know that there's a kind of hardware device called random access memory or RAM that is used to processing data and store data too. And processing again let me recall information here a little bit. Processing data is like analyze and interpret data and transfer data. So and RAM is also how store data or information, right? But in the computer system, there are a lot of hardware devices that also help store data for short time or a long time too. So so here in this video, we're gonna learn about all of those storage devices. So here I'm gonna show you a document that I had written a long time ago when I just studied A plus class. I'm gonna read out loud the information so that you guys can practice listening if you are still studying English. And while I'm reading, please make sure that you understand what I'm trying to say. And I'm gonna try to share my thought about all of those informations. And I'm gonna try to paraphrase the informations and uh, into a kind of knowledge that can be more easily to understand. So and what I want you to do is that please consider to spend time to write some notes as you're watching this video, and please try to put in more information like images into your notes, and put more and try to highlight your notes with different colors too, so that you can retain information for long term. Okay, begin with this paragraph. RAM can also be considered a hardware component called a storage device. Okay, so I already talked about this. So next, a storage device is any hardware component that stores data. Okay, either temporarily or permanently. Okay, when data is stored temporarily, short-term storage such as RAM is used. Okay, so when it comes to store data, if something is temporary, then please remember it's going to be RAM, and RAM is playing an important role in this process. Like for as I remember, RAM is just store some kind of information or data that you are using when you interact with computer for a short time. Like after you restart your computer, then all of those informations will not store in RAM anymore. And because of this issue, uh, the computer system needs a second or even a third or additional storage devices to store data and information for a long time. Like after you turn off your computer and turn it on again on the next day or in future, you can still see those information again. And the reasons there's a hardware device like RAM, and there's other hardware devices for long time storage. The reason why there are too many storage devices like that are because RAM is play an important role for processing data too, right? So let's say when you're trying to use a software on your computer, at that time, a lot of data information from the software are actually need to process somehow, and at that time, RAM will interact with them, and that's why you may see when you try to install or set up some kind of software on your computer, you may see some information like the recommendations about hardware systems that the kind of software you are trying to use will require your computers to have, like, or there's a specific game that requires uh, 8 GB of RAM or 16 GB of RAM or something. That is because a lot of data and information from that software needs to be stored temporarily into RAM. So and processed by, and those data and information are needed to process by the CPU and RAM. So yeah, that's why we still need RAM uh, as a storage device for temporary storage. Okay, back to the document, and let's see what they are trying to say next. Um, it's important to know that RAM is considered volatile memory. That means it's not persistent. Yeah, because it's a temporary storage. All of the data will go away and disappear after you shut off the computer or restart the computer. Okay, if the computer is turned off or loses power, or the data that was stored in RAM is lost, it's gone forever. Okay, I already talked about this. You might wonder why you would use a storage device that is erased every time it loses power. You use RAM because it's extremely fast. You use RAM because it's extremely fast. Okay, information can be accessed from RAM faster than any other type of storage hardware. Okay, I didn't mention about this, but I think this is important to remember too. Yeah, it's how process and transfer data quicker than other hardware devices, right? Yeah, that's why we need RAMs. Uh, but sometimes you okay, nice. But sometimes you need to store information permanently. This is done using long-term storage. Okay. Besides RAM, we also need long-term storage devices too. Remember, short-term storage is lost every time the computer is shut down. Okay. Long-term storage is considered non-volatile memory. In other words, it's persistent. This means that even when the computer is turned off, the data stored on the hardware will still be there when you turn the computer back on. Okay, cool. So remember that there are temporary storage devices like RAM, and there are also permanently storage devices. Okay, back. Okay, this image might be familiar with a lot of you guys. So there are a variety of long-term storage media. The most common one is hard disk drive. Okay, this is called a hard disk drive. And let me show you different more kind of hard disk drive here too. Uh, mm, right. Okay. So for these particular hard disk drives, because they looks like this, they can only be used in a desktop computer. But on a laptop computer, these kind of hard disk drives maybe smaller. Yeah, the big one will will fit with your palms. The smaller ones maybe half of it. And let me show you some information about hard disk drives on some of the supermarket. So that you know that these days you can find more information about hard disk drives on any device that you want to buy on any supermarkets out there. Uh, like okay, laptop. Mm, mm, hard disk drive. Okay. I actually don't see any information about hard disk drive here, but I'll try to see if they provide information about it on this page. Great. Uh, mm. If you look at information from MacBooks, you may not see the information about hard disk drive, but you can still see the term called solid state drive here, and it's a kind of solid state drive is like another permanently storage device too, but we're not gonna dive deep into it at this time. So let me find information about the hard disk drive from an HP laptop. Okay, let's see if they provide information about the hard disk drive. Um, okay, you can see solid state drive here too, right? But how about the hard disk drive? Oh, okay. Oh, well, I don't actually see any information about the hard disk drive on these laptops. Let me see if let me see if all of the laptop from Amazon actually provide information about hard disk drive. Uh, So for this Lenovo, let's see if we can see any hard disk drive information. Okay, so for Amazon, that this kind of laptop provides information about hard disk drives, and the size is 1.6 terabyte. So the more terabyte or gigabyte a laptop has, you know that you know that it can store more data. So please consider about the information hard disk drive or hard disk size when you try when you plan to buy any laptop or desktop computer. Okay. Okay. Next. Hard disk drive store information on rotating disk called ladder. Okay. And this is called a rotating disk, and in other words, it can be called a ladder. Uh, just like small disk. Another common medium is a solid state drive SSD. I, I don't actually understand why they use the word medium here, so I'm gonna try to translate it. Um, uh, why they are using the word medium here? So I think what they're trying to say is they want us to know something that is the middle size when compared with things that are larger or smaller. So for this sentence, you can translate into something like another common device with the medium size is a solid state drive. Solid state drive is also a long-term storage device. So solid state drives use memory chips that are a lot like RAM. Okay. However, the information stored on on these chips is persistent. Okay. Solid state drive. So solid state drive looks like this. Let's see how does it look in real life. Solid state drive. Okay. Okay, it looks smaller than a hard disk drive, right? And it looks like a small smartphone or something, or like a small car. Hard disk drives and solid state drives can store a lot of data and access it relatively fast, but not nearly as fast as RAM. This is why you use both hard drives and RAM to store data. Okay, cool. So in general, just remember that when it comes to storage, there are temporary storage devices like RAM, and there are permanently storage devices like hard disk drive, and solid state drive. RAM can play an important role in process data that are faster than a solid state drive or hard disk drive. That's why we need RAM for running any software while you are using your computer. But when it comes to store something permanently from that software, then a computer system needs a solid state drive and even hard drive. This is called a CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray. Okay. So in the past, most desktops, computers, or laptops provides a a kind of place that you can insert CDs or DVDs or Blu-ray disc into it. But these days, if you try to buy a laptop these days, there's only uh, there's only some port to insert USB and o- and other cables, because these days you can find a lot of data and information online, and you just need to download all of those data back to your computer. So that's why you may not see a lot of laptops these days provides a place where you can insert CDs, DVDs, or Blu-ray discs into it anymore. And nowadays, people are so smart. They store data on some cloud storage platform like OneDrive or Google Drive, so that they can transfer and process all those data on their device back and forth in any place. You know, like you can kind of access OneDrive or Google Drive in anywhere around the world if you can have access to the internet. So you don't have to use some kind of CDs, DVDs, or even USBs to transfer your data like back in the day anymore. So I think that you still need to learn about these things because still play an important role somehow for people who are not that good with using cloud storage somehow. So let's see what they are trying to say here. You also have optical storage media such as CDs, DVDs, and Blu-ray discs, BDs or BRDs. Okay, they call Blu-ray discs BDs or BRDs. Right. So they call CDs, DVDs, and Blu-ray discs as optical storage media. Right. Optical storage media can be read only or writable. If a if a disk is read only, I'm sorry, if a disk is read only, the information it contains is fixed and can be modified or erased. So for information from a DVD, right, when you insert a DVD into your computer, you may see a lot of data or information from that particular DVD, but actually you cannot erase or modify or change or any data information from that DVD. You can format the DVD into its default setting, like you try to erase all of the information from that DVDs, but it's gonna still be there at some point. All those data may still be there if you have no idea how to format it properly. So next, um, if it is read only, the information it contains is fixed and can be modified or erased. It can only be viewed. An example, a read-only disk is a software CD-ROM. A read-only disk is a software CD-ROM or DVD-ROM. The ROM at the end stands for read-only memory. The ROM at the end stands for read-only memory. Okay, so for this phrase, you can say like CD read-only memory, DVD read-only memory. Right, cool. Like you insert a DVD into your computer to only to watch movies and nothing else. Okay, next, writable disk on the other hand can be modified. Okay, cool. So there are writable disks out there that we can modify data to. This the writable have an R or an RW for CD DVD RW. R here is like read, RW is like read and write, and BDR is like Blu-ray disc read. The R stands for recordable. Oh man, I was wrong. Okay, so here we can say like CD recordable, DVD recordable, and write or something. Right. And Blu-ray disc, Blu-ray disc are recordable. Okay. Unlike the ROM and counterparts, unlike the ROM counterparts, these types of discs can have information saved to them. So let's say you try to use a video game console. So if you use Xbox, notice that this kind of console is using DVDs to play video game. Or if you use PlayStation, it's using DVDs to play video game. That's why DVDs, CDs, or even Blu-rays discs are also still exist these days because it can be used in other purposes, right? So that's why if let's say you are a video game developer and want to create a video game and store on a disk, then yeah, you may need to use some kind of recordable disk so that you can transfer and modify data into a disk, so that you can insert that particular disk into a video game console to play. This is called a flash drive, or people might call this thing like a USB. There are two more long-term storage devices to talk about. The first is a flash drive. Flash drives are small portable devices that use memory chips to store information. Let me show you information about flash drive on some marketplace like Walmart and Amazon, so that you can compare the price or see some specific details about it. Let's okay, flash drive here. Okay, here you can see they provide information like 16 gigabyte USB, 2.0 swivel flash drives. Okay, shareable data storage for home and office use. Flash and SanDisk, ultra flare, and okay. So in general, a flash drive can cost less than $50, right? Depends on the storage size. This is 128 gigabytes. This is just 16 gigabytes. If something is 1 terabyte or even larger size, then it'll cost more. So from Walmart, let's see. Mm. Okay, here are some flash drives that they are selling. Yeah, those are not very expensive. So let me show you about the kind of computer support that can be used to insert a flash drive. Uh, see, okay, here there's some kind of USB port that can be used to insert a USB flash drive that looks like this and this. Yeah, here. Yeah, normally if you buy laptops, you can see there are two or even just one USB port. Flash drives are small portable devices that use memory chips to store information. These memory chips are very small to RAM chips. However, the information is persistent. The second device is a secure digital card, or you can say SD card. And you might be familiar with these. SD cards are used in smartphones, tablets, and digital cameras to store information. They use non-volatile memory. So most of the time, SD card can be used to extend the storage size on your digital device too. So here are some different kind of SD cards, and you can see different size here. This is 128 gigabyte. This is 32. Yeah, normally they might cost less than $100 for each, depending on the size. That's it for this video. In this video, just remember that there are temporary storage devices like RAM, and there are permanently storage devices like hard disk drive, solid state drive, optical disk drive like CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, uh, and then flash drive like USB, and then secure digital card or SD card where it comes to process data and storage data temporarily. Then a computer system needs RAM, random access memory. But when it comes to store information or data permanently for future use, hard disk drives or solid state drive or DVD, CDs or Blu-ray or even USB or SD card will be important. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications to stay in touch with my channel.